First, though, holidays, they should be a time of happiness and cheer. But you know what happens? That stress creeps in, right? Especially for us women.
Joining us now to talk about how to handle stress during the holiday season is Dr. Marc Dalton. Doctor, good to have you on.
Good morning.
Now, are you one to get stressed, or do you leave it to the women in your life?
I leave it to my mom.
That's a good answer.
She manages all the stress for all of us. And she, had two big boys like me, so she can handle stress pretty well.
Do you think it's a sex thing, like a male-female thing, that females just get wrapped around the axle a little bit because we take on too much and men see it differently? What is it?
I think it's a different type of pressure. I think each one has their own pressure, but women tend to be more involved with the show of it all, meaning we have to look a certain way, we have to do a certain amount of things, and it's really kind of unnecessary. We need to learn to say no a little bit and, back up a little bit from things. But I think for men, it's a little bit more about the time management and actually helping their wives not to de-stress, but sometimes they're a little, absent, as you say.
You said it here, right?
And the women could use a little more help, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, men are more doers, whereas women, they really do internalize a lot more. Whereas men get it out, they yell at the football games, which is really their source of stress this time of the year, the playoffs, things like that. But women really do want to, put their best foot forward during the holidays, and it can be stressful, especially with kids, family, and work.
So from a guy's perspective, do you think women need to ask for more help?
Oh, absolutely. They need to put limits. A lot of times I think we all need to ask for help a little bit more, because sometimes we feel like we have to be the perfectionists, keep up with the Smiths, the Kardashians, or whoever is big right about now. But the three things that really stress people out, of course, is time, money, and then people during the holidays. And I liked your idea of taking one of the holidays and putting it off to Friday.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's awesome. I said,
really?
That's a really good idea, especially when you have so many different commitments that you have to make. And traveling actually on Thursday is a lot easier than it is, on Wednesday.
Because everybody's in place.
And that's part of the reason why we decided to do that, because one is traveling in from New York, so it's going to work out great.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
And that's when I do it. I get up at 5 and get my great aunt, and we get in the car and we drive, and she spills all the family secrets during that time. So.
Are you traveling this week? Are you going to be traveling?
I am. We are leaving about 5 o'clock on Thursday morning, and we'll get there about noon, and we have about my dad had 6 sisters.
Where are you going to?
North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
You can tell the accent.
I heard a little twang in there. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the best time to drive right there.
Absolutely.
Some other tips you have for us are, we talked about scheduling our time, but this is an interesting one. Moderate your eating and drinking.
Exactly. I'm still working on that. But what I would say is a lot of people tend to cut out the things that actually reduce their stress and then increase things that they really shouldn't. In other words, they overeat, they overdrink, they go to this party. It interrupts your sleep cycle a lot, and you're already stressed to begin with, So I also tell them to remember to keep doing things that they like to do, like exercise, yoga, things that help to decrease their stress, listening to music, different things like that.
Yeah, music has a nice relaxing effect.
Yeah, unless it's those annoying Christmas songs. Sometimes they play over and over and over
and over.
I know, some I like and some I can't.
As opposed to now. So.
Yeah. Well, moving back to the drinking thing, that could be interesting. It could soothe you before Friday. It could also bring out the worst in you in front of family and friends.
Absolutely.
That can be dangerous.
A lot of people don't realize that alcohol is actually a depressant. They use it to, help with stress, but actually it can become problematic. And if you think you have a problem with alcohol or someone you love, it's good to maybe pull them aside. Families bring out the stress in all of us, and so when you add family plus stress plus drinking, it can only be a bad combination. And that's what holidays, you don't want them to become a chore. You want them to be, a wonderful experience.
Believe it or not, police get more phone calls for incidents at their home around the holidays. It happens.
Yeah, you put more people together who, it's almost like, marbles. You put them together and they kind of make a lot of noise when you rattle them around. So when you put a lot of family in the same space and they're used to having their own space, when they get in the same area, it can be a little chaotic sometimes. So I always tell people doses, small doses of folks, and then you can also spread that out during the year. Why do we always only try to do it in November and December? You have a whole year of things to do, and then try to plan different types of activities also, other than the big family dinners. In D.C., you have the National Christmas Tree. Why not just say we're going to all meet there and then, have an evening there and then have hot chocolate or something?
That sounds good. Yeah. You were mentioning about trying to have realistic expectations, about what should happen on a holiday. And a lot of us sort of hear or see grandmother or mother, what the way they did things, and then we're trying to maybe do what they did. But this is a good time, too, to kind of start your own traditions.
Right, absolutely. Start your own traditions and also invite those loved ones back in a different way. Tell stories to the younger folks. So, my mother or grandmother or whomever, we used to do this or we used to wrap this. I want to start something with you, but as you do the new activity, talk about your relatives who have passed on, because this is also a time when people get really sad about those that have moved on. And I always say, learn to say hello again to those relatives, bring them back in a different way.
Well, when we're talking about stress, it really takes a toll on our bodies, doesn't it? Tell us some of the health effects related to stress.
Well, again, like I said, the primary one is sleep. A lot of people don't realize, we're supposed to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, everyone. I don't know anyone who does that. The other thing that can really happen is, if you look at people's skin, a lot of people have reactions with their skin. They can actually have breakouts, eczema, different things like that. And literally feeling achy and stressed. A lot of massage therapists say about this time of the year, people are really naughty, in their muscles.
In both senses of the word.
Exactly, in both senses. Yeah.
So instead of doing Black Friday, we should go to get a massage and relax.
Exactly. What a great idea, treat yourself. Always buy your own gift first is what I say.
Ooh. I like this. I think we can get along with Mark here. Mark's got some good ideas. I really like the recommendations. May not be good for our credit cards, but I like the way you're thinking.
Yeah, that's another thing is to limit your spending and go in with a plan. A lot of people go in with, they don't have a plan. I say, write it down. I'm only going to spend this much money and really stick to it. It's another source of stress and arguments, money.
And then when do you know if you're so stressed out you really should seek some professional help?
Well, if you start to feel really down and it lasts for more than 2 weeks, you really can't function, you can't concentrate, your sleep gets off. It's time you probably call a mental health professional or talk to your physician.
Or talk to
a pastor. Or talk to me.
Dr. Marc Dalton. Mark,
Exactly.
thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Good luck on your drive down to North Carolina.
It's gonna be fun.
Have a safe time with your family.
Absolutely. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.